Welcome to Gracefully Graying. I'm your host, family law attorney Henry Gornbun. I am a partner in the full-service Birmingham law firm of Lippitt O'Keefe Gornbun. Every day on Gracefully Graying, we explore issues that impact upon us as we grow older and hopefully gracefully gray. Today, I am pleased to welcome someone who I consider a guru in issues with regard to exercise, fitness, and diet and eating. Without further ado, let me welcome to Gracefully Graying my daughter, Laurie Jerris. Laurie, welcome.
Thank you.
First of all, Laurie, why don't you tell our viewers a little bit about your background and who you are?
Sure. Well, as you know, I'm Laurie Jerris, and how far should I go back?
Well, not to your horrible childhood, but at least go back to really what drove you. I mean, you've always had a passion for exercise, and how did you get into this area?
Right. Well, I could say that, as you know, that when I was younger, I dieted a lot, and I call myself a dieting scientist. I tried all different diets to try to figure out how I could lose weight and keep it off long term, and I was always into dance and aerobics, and when I got to college, I studied psychology. So I kind of combined all three passions, the exercise, the figuring out how to keep my weight off, and the psychology behind it, and became a personal trainer and food coach when I graduated in 1994.
Tell us what you do as a personal trainer.
Well, what I do is I work with people, and everyone tells me what they want to meet their fitness goals and their eating goals, and everyone's unique. So my job is really a coach and a motivator, and I take my knowledge that I know and I tailor it to help other people accomplish their health and fitness goals.
Now, Laurie, you work with people of all ages, and the focus of our show is really those 50 and over, and as our body changes. Why don't you talk a little bit about that, how you're monitoring people who are older perhaps differently than someone who might be in their 30s and 40s.
Oh, absolutely. So I would say the majority of my clients are gracefully graying, and I tend to work with people that maybe weren't so athletic when they were younger. So they come to me, and sometimes they're real intimidated because they have all these misconceptions, like I need to do so much exercise to get results. So I will take somebody and tell them that honestly, you don't need to do as much as you think to get amazing results as you get older. But I give them realistic workouts and expectations and make this all manageable, and I build them up slowly. And some of my clients, I start, the last one, it was 75, and she had exercised when she was younger, but she hadn't in a long time, and she started doing strength training and got amazing results. So I work with people where they're at, and I teach them how to get the results they want. And there's probably three big concerns as we get older. The first is we want to feel good, right? We want to, eliminate the aches and pains. The second one is weight loss. As we get older, we tend to gain weight, our metabolism slows down. And the third would be stress reduction and just how to enjoy life as things change in our, as we age.
Why don't you take us through a typical training session that you have with someone who's, in the age bracket that we're talking, which are, gracefully graying 50 and over.
Okay, a typical training session would be based on what you come to me and tell me what your goals are. So let's just say you came to me and you're 60 and you hadn't worked out for a while, and your doctor said you need to start doing strength training. Strength training is really the gold star for as we get older, because we need to maintain our muscle mass and just be strong for daily living. So what I do is I start people off with 30-minute sessions, and I teach them just the basics of strength training and how to stay fit and active. And so they do probably a circuit, maybe 10 exercises that we come up with together that they feel comfortable doing, that they like doing, and we do it 2 or 3 times and end with a stretch, and twice a week, and that's enough to start a nice fitness foundation.
What are the examples? I mean, are you dealing with weights, with bands, with machines? Tell us a little about that.
Everything. So, okay, let's just say that you're somebody that is new to exercise, and my first recommendation is to probably find a trainer, at least to work with 5 times. If you're going to go to a gym, let them show you a routine that works for your body in the gym. You can tell them your health history, if you have any back issues, knee issues, hip issues. We all do as we get older. And so they'll show you what works. I love to use resistance bands. They're easy, you can do them at home. There's a company called Body Elastics that makes a wonderful kit that you can anchor anywhere in your house, and it's small and portable. And I also recommend a lot of stretching exercises and balance exercises as well. My favorite one to show, we call it you pretend like you're getting arrested for drunk driving. You know how they have you walk like toe to heel? You want to do that a couple times a day. You want to stand on one foot and lift your knee up, and you can do it at first holding onto the wall, because as we get older, our balance goes, and hip injuries, fractures are a big concern. So you want to really focus on making sure that it's not just, what am I going to do during my 30-minute exercise session? What am I going to do throughout the day to keep myself strong and healthy? So if you do that little walk, one foot in front of the other, pretend these are my feet. And if you stand up, these are your feet, and you lift one leg up and hold it for about 10, 20 seconds, you're going to get stronger and you're going to have better balance. And it's these little things throughout the day that make such a difference in your overall health as you get older.
What about exercise between sessions with you as a trainer? Do you encourage them to work out several times a week, or what is typical?
Well, everybody's different, and I'd say that for who I work with, when you're coming to a trainer, a lot of times you're not motivated to meet your goals. So I say that strength train twice a week for 30 minutes is the bare minimum that you want to do. And then if someone loves it, I'll give them a home workout to do, maybe a couple 10-minute routines. And then I always say to walk, because walking is one of the best things you can do for your body. It builds your bone mass, and it's what we do in life. It's what our bodies are truly designed to do. You don't need to run, you don't need to do these crazy high intense workouts, but you just need to keep moving. And the tips that you hear all the time, like take the stairs instead of the elevator and park your car further away, all these things add up. So I just really encourage people to stay as active as possible throughout their day. And when you think of regular exercise, sure, I tell my clients to do more. The recommendations are 150 minutes a week of exercise, and that includes strength training and your cardiovascular. So yeah, I want people to move as much as they're willing, but it's not, we were out for dinner with, your mom and my grandma, who's 98, and she was telling us how she feels she needs to do more than 10,000 steps a day.
Right.
And I was saying, no, that's good. You don't have to do more than that. You just have to do enough.
What about different types of aerobics? And I'm thinking of treadmills versus bicycle versus ellipticals.
I always tell people to find their yoga. Okay, so what I mean by that is a lot of people that do yoga, they love yoga, and they come out and they think, oh my God, it's the best workout ever, and they get this yoga zen aura about them. And so what I say is that they're all the same means, okay? Walking is great because it's weight bearing. But if you really don't like walking, I personally am not a great walker, as you know. I like the elliptical, so I do that, and as long as you're getting your heart rate up, you're fine. And if you like biking, get on the bike. They're all the same. They meet the same end goal, which is to get your heart in great shape. So they're all great. There's not one way to exercise. There's so many different ways that you can accomplish your goals with exercise. Just move. Find something you like and get on it, and it works.
How do you motivate people? Because I know a lot of people, they may come to you, and when you're working with them, they'll do it, but then between your training sessions, they, forget it.
Well, I found that was the case early on, and with technology, I drive people absolutely crazy. I text them in between workouts. I have, food coaching and workout reminders, and I set it up so when you come to me and you're going to do your home program, so I'll send you a reminder. Hey, today you're doing this, and let me know that you did it. So I found that the accountability with the coaching is so important, and they do it. As long as I send them the little text reminders, they're going to do the work. But it really helps. So technology has been a wonderful thing with fitness to help people reach their goals.
What about devices such as an iWatch or a Fitbit? Do those help, or?
Anything that motivates you. I have some people that love their Fitbits and they count their steps, and anything that helps you move more is wonderful, as long as you don't get too attached to it and think that, I'd like to say it's good enough. Okay, so when you think, well, I have to walk 10,000 steps a day, and today I only did 5, and you're going to feel bad about it, sometimes that sets you up that you're not going to actually do the walking if you can't meet your 10,000 steps. So yeah, I think they're all great to give you numbers and tracking, and it makes it fun, but you don't need it to move. And some people buy the stuff and then they don't use it. So I think that whatever motivates you to work out and to stay moving is great. So they could be very useful. A lot of my clients have them and they like them.
Let's go to diet.
My favorite.
I know you've done a lot in that area. And what are the basic steps that you do to help people, stay away from those extra calories or the wrong calories?
All right,
maybe?
So as you know, I have a whole program and it's called Lose It Right. And it's really based on the foundation that, a lot of people come to me initially and they say, I want to lose weight. And sometimes they're very unrealistic of what they want to weigh. Like they'll say their wedding weight or their high school weight, which as we get older, we're going to gain weight. That's just the way our bodies are. So I help them really set realistic goals using Lose It Right. Now, Lose It Right is just a journal, and you don't need the journal. What I would suggest for people is to start by writing down what they eat on a daily basis and not making any changes. Okay, so that you get an idea. It's like a diet eating blueprint of
So it's like a baseline.
A baseline of what are you eating, and then, depending on what your goals are, and a lot of people as we get older, they have, it's hard to eat certain foods. They get IBS, or they find that it's harder to digest dairy or, wheat they're sensitive to. So in order to feel better, I recommend what everybody recommends, and that's the least unprocessed foods as possible. So healthy fruits, vegetables, whole grains, lean proteins, healthy fats, but not to make yourself crazy, so there has to be moderation where you can still have the stuff that you love, but just to fit it in a more realistic basis. So you can eat it all, but not all at once.
Do you start with having someone, what I want to do, and we're going to be taking a break in a minute.
Okay.
So hold this up, but I want to start by talking about a new client. Mm-hmm. You talk to this new client about an exercise program.
Okay.
Now, how do you deal with talking to the new client? You started with the baseline about a diet program.
Sure.
And we're going to hold that thought. We're going to be right back after this break with my guest and favorite fitness guru, Laurie Jerris, right after this break.
Plus, the latest LiftMaster garage door openers and the toughest retractable screens on the market, all by the push of a button. Tarno Doors is celebrating its 50th year anniversary and is the recipient of the 2016 Subcontractor of the Year from the Home Builders Association.
Tarno knows doors. Tarno knows doors.
Advertising your business these days can be challenging. Traditional radio and TV ads are expensive and, frankly, a bit of a crapshoot. Not to mention, the audience for over-the-air material is shrinking as more and more of us demand to see and hear what we want, when we want. Advertising on new radio media is a solution. With our live streaming programs that are also available on demand, your message is always ready when your customers are ready to watch and listen, all for a fraction of what you'd likely have been paying for other ads. NewRadioMedia.com. Call Buzz Van Houten at 248-939-9999 for more information.
Maple Lane Golf Club is a 54-hole golfing treasure located in the heart of Sterling Heights. Maple Lane Golf Club offers immaculate greens, a top-flight pro shop, and inexpensive green fees. For convenience, book your tee time online at maplelanegolf.com. Come out and enjoy a great golf experience. Try our 9 and Dine special, 9 holes of golf, and enjoy food and refreshments in the Clubhouse Bistro. That's Maple Lane Golf Club in Sterling Heights. Check us out at maplelanegolf.com.
Detroit. It's the home of some of the world's most talented artists. It's where techno and Motown were born. It's a city where you can experience raw, untamed rock and roll. I'm Ben Rose, and I'm inviting you to join me weekday afternoons from 4 to 5 for the Motor City Juke Joint. I'll have interviews with musicians, info on what's going on around town, and a playlist curated by me just for you. It's all right here on newradiomedia.com.
We are back with my guest, Laurie Jerris, as we discuss issues with regard to fitness and diet. Laurie, before the break, I had you hold the thought on what happens when someone comes to you not only with exercise issues, which we discussed at some length in the first segment, but eating issues, diet issues. So let's start with, we talked a little bit about a baseline. Let's start with what your initial meeting would consist of.
Right, I love this. So again, I do a little health history, and then when we go, most of my clients want the eating advice, and so the only thing I don't do is recommend a food plan. But what I do is I have them start with a journal, and this is the Lose It Right journal, and I help them fill it out, and we start about just how they're going to stay accountable to me and realistic goals. So, you know, everybody wants to lose all their weight by next week, and
Right.
so we negotiate, and we say it probably will take more than a week, and then they agree to write down everything they eat for a month. Okay, so those are 3 things that we just establish. And then I'll take them through, I'll ask them questions like, what do you eat in a typical day? And, you know, everybody has different patterns. So what I'm looking for is patterns where they overeat. And everybody has different eating styles, but it narrows down to sometimes in the afternoon they overeat, sometimes at night they overeat. And then I see if their food choices are relatively healthy or if they're not healthy at all. And that's pretty much it. And I always leave them with a couple things to take away that they can start working on. So one is writing down what they eat. And today I actually had a new person. So the first thing was,
tell us about it.
right. So the first thing was she was going to write down what she eats. The second thing is we realized she goes way too long without eating, and she's a pretty healthy eater. So the 2 things are that we're going to work on is she's going to pay more attention to her portions, and I actually have a tool that's in this journal, which is pretty cool. So take out your hand. You do it too. So this is your hand portion guide. So your palm of your hand, you have a bigger hand, you're lucky. So your palm is a serving of protein. Okay, so when you are eating, that's all you get without the fingers. And then if you make a fist, this is going to be your servings of vegetables. So you want to eat a lot of vegetables. Okay, and this is also fruit. Okay, and then for carbohydrates, which is just your rice and your pasta and your grains, you make a little cup with your hand, just one hand, and then this is all you get. You get a little cup. So when you start to really look at your hand and what portions look like, you'll be amazed at, I mean, we all overeat as Americans. And then your thumb, the tip of your thumb right here, is your serving of fat. So that's going to be your olive oil, your butter, your peanut butter. And so they walk away with the tools to use right away.
So you can visualize it.
Yeah. So they have the journal they're writing in, and today she got the portion, the hand, and I also encouraged her to get some measuring utensils so she can really learn what a portion looks like, a food scale, her measuring cups. Because it really is just about calories in, calories out at the end of the day. You're on a budget. So, but that's later. We talk about that later on. Because if you talk about too much information, people get really overwhelmed and then they don't do anything. So you want to keep it manageable. And then the third thing was just to keep her eating more often. So we came up with some healthy snacks ideas that she liked, and she's going to start bringing them with her. And that's how I got her started.
Well, this is literally in my office today. I was talking to someone about eating and diet, and she was saying, if you nibble a little bit throughout the day, you'll be less hungry and it's easier to diet. I don't know if that's true or not. I've heard some people say, there was a doctor on my show who was saying if you can hold it and just eat early and eat nothing until dinner. But, you know, there's so many theories. So when you're talking to people, what are some of the things that you're recommending as far as, you know, is one meal more important than the other? Are portions is beautiful to hand, but what are some of the other tools that you can give to our viewers?
Okay, so first of all, I want to preface that I'm not a dietitian. So I do not give exact meal plans and calorie counts. I recommend it from different websites. The American, I think it's, I'll figure out what it is, but it's usgov.org. They have the DASH diet on there. So they have different meal plans to follow. What it is everybody can lose weight when they figure out what works for them. So you described intermittent fasting, which is going a long time without eating. Well, I know for me, I like to eat all day long because I'm a big volume eater, And it doesn't work for me to fast because I'll overeat at the next meal. But for someone else, I mean, there might be, let's just say we had 20 people. There could be 20 different ways of eating. As long as they're eating healthy, unprocessed foods and not too much, there is not one perfect meal plan for everybody. The perfect meal plan is one that you will stick with. It is not a temporary solution. It's something that you'll stick with long term, and that satisfies you. So we're all looking for that magic diet that, you know, this is going to tell me exactly how to lose weight and keep it off. Problem is that if you don't like it and you don't feel satisfied, you're not going to stick to it long term. So really, I'd advise everybody watching is just to start to pay more attention to what you're eating, how you're eating, where you're eating, and when, and really become more mindful, because that's the key to lasting weight loss. Eating when you're hungry, stopping when you're full, making sure you eat the right foods and not too much.
Well, there are certain dangerous meals. I mean, again, I've heard breakfast can be the most important meal and not to skip it. I've heard that a big dinner is the worst thing and eating after dinner is worse because, you know, you're settling down for the night and you're not going to burn off those calories.
Well, from what I've learned is I have clients that don't eat breakfast and they lose weight. I have clients that eat most of their calories at night and they lose weight. I think that, you know, they're still doing research on all this. Everybody's body is different and we all metabolize food differently. So they're really keying in on some fascinating studies about your DNA and genetics. But as a rule of thumb, don't overeat and try not to eat a lot of processed foods, like foods that get you in trouble. We know, like the potato chips or popcorn or, you know, your pistachios. We could go eating fast, you know, the two of us are speed eaters. You should see us like shoveling in our meals.
So eating slowly is important.
Huge. Mindfully, because you're paying more attention, and the slower you eat, the less you're going to eat, because you actually can recognize that you're getting full and you won't need as much food. So I'd say instead of what you're eating, focus on how you're eating. And are you eating in front of the TV with a bag of chips next to you? Well, before you know it, the chips are going to be gone.
Right.
So you want to pay attention to what you're eating, how you're eating slowly, why you're eating, are you really hungry? But all these rules, I have a lot of clients, they don't want to eat breakfast. Well, thank God for intermittent fasting, because now the studies came out that you don't have to eat breakfast, but you know, for some people, they can't go without waking up and eating something. So you have to learn to trust your own body. And I think that's what's missing, is that we stop trusting ourselves, because when you diet and follow a specific meal plan, you're kind of overriding your body's natural cues. So you really want to tap into your own awareness. That's why writing down helps you, because you're going to write down and then you're going to assess how you feel. And it's almost like you're being real scientific.
Well, you got them focusing. I mean, lose it right is you have to concentrate. You have to think it through.
Yes.
And then you've got a written plan or record, history of what you've eaten, why you've eaten, and how much you've cheated, I guess.
Exactly. Exactly.
Laurie, let's talk a little bit about one of the other issues that you'd like to deal with, and that's mindfulness. And tell us more about that.
Okay, so meditation. So as you know, I'm certified as a trainer, and I don't know, probably 6 years ago, we got, you know, emails and literature about what they want us to focus on with our clients, the latest studies, and meditation and mindfulness came on full blast. And I was like, well, I want to see what this is all about. And so I started trying to meditate, which was a disaster, because I couldn't do it. I couldn't like sit there and be quiet and turn my brain off. But I kept playing around with different forms of meditation, and everybody that I listened to, my gurus, my mentors, they really recommend it as a way to reduce stress and eat less. So I started really learning about how to do it, and I would say that I now myself have a pretty successful meditation and mindful practice, and my clients are kind of getting on board too. Can I share with you the tools?
I'd like you to, and you know, I'm thinking of I was one of your guinea pigs for a while on one of the experiments, and you know, both Debbie and I loved it. I mean, it was great.
And you still do it. You still do the breathing.
I still do breathing both in the morning when I first get up and at night when I'm ready to go to sleep. So
yeah, so all meditation is we have over 60,000 thoughts in our head a day. 60,000. Right. So our heads start going crazy, and that's why, you know, we turn to food to turn our mind off. We, we yell and we get stressed out or we drink. So what meditation does is it gives you a pause in your day where you sit down and you train your brain to focus on something else instead of the thoughts that are going on. And there are so many different ways to meditate. One that I love to start with is that you just take your favorite song out, okay, or you listen to any song, you sit down and you force yourself to pay attention to every word of the song. That's meditation, it's mindful.
Close your eyes.
Yeah.
Breathe in and out.
If you want to,
Okay.
but you listen to every word. The second one that I teach is the one that I taught you, and it's from Dr. Andrew Weil, who is a great integrative health specialist. And that's the one I taught you. You breathe in for a count of 7, you hold it for a count of 4, and then you exhale for a count of 8. And you do it 3 times, and that's it. And so it's like a 1-minute pause where you're just gonna take a break for yourself, you're gonna let go of all your thoughts, and you're gonna train your brain to focus on something else for that 1 minute. And then I recommend apps if you guys want to learn more about this. They're free to try. There's one called 10% Happier, Headspace, Calm, or do your own research. There's so many great tools now to teach you how to become more mindful. And it's really big. They're using it in companies, doctors are recommending it. They have programs for weight loss. It's wonderful, wonderful, as you know.
Now, Laurie, a lot of people have goals. A lot of people will lose weight. But one of the problems is you lose weight, and then 6 months later or a year later, you're back to where you were, or even more weight. And I've seen this. I know several people who've had bariatric surgery, and it works for a while. But then, even after the bariatric surgery, after all these sacrifice and pain, they're gaining. They're heavier again. What are some of your comments on that?
Yeah, so first of all, I really feel that unfortunately bariatric surgery doesn't change your brain and how you think about the food, and you have to make it a way of life. So however you lose weight, you kind of have to tell yourself, this is going to be how I'm going to eat for the rest of my life in some capacity. So when you go on too restrictive of a plan for just a month or 2 months or 3 months or even a year, eventually we have a tendency to fall back into our old habits.
So you really got to change how you think. And we're down to less than a minute.
Okay.
If someone has more questions or wants more information, Laurie, how do they reach you?
Absolutely. They can email me, Laurie at loseItrite.com. It's LOSEITWRITE.com. You can find me on Facebook. This is my passion. I love helping people live healthy lives in a way that works for them. So I'd be honored to get any questions that your audience has.
Laurie, I want to thank you so much for being my guest on Gracefully Graying. I want to thank you for watching Gracefully Graying.
Hey, you guys, it's Raphael of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Guess what? The only thing we can get down here in the sewer is Geektainment Weekly on New Radio Media. Turtle Power!
At Murray's Part City, we're known for offering customer service you won't get in any chain store or online. But don't take it from me, just listen to what our customers have to say.
The employees at Murray's are knowledgeable, courteous.
They make you feel like you're at home.
Pick up a can of Seafoam Fuel System treatment for only $6.99 or a 5-quart container of Mobil 1 motor oil for just $28.95. Murray's Part City and Pontiac Trail at Maple Road in Walled Lake.
We've got the parts you need when you need them.